This is the Real Estate Insider Show with Ellen Hurley, with hot topics, Q&A, mortgage updates, and more. And now, here's the Real Estate Insider, Ellen Hurley.
A good day and welcome to the Real Estate Insider Show. I'm Ellen Hurley, owner-broker of the Showcase Real Estate Group. Thank you for tuning in. With me today is, of course, our mortgage expert that's here every Thursday is Chris Offer with Mason McDuffie. And we're so excited to have Steve Sax here. He won the World Series in the Dodgers back in, I don't know what year, but 1981, okay, and 88, I believe, okay. And it's so excited to have him here. And hi, Steve, how are you?
Ellen, how are you?
Good. I've so impressed with your background, with what you did, of course, in baseball, and then also how you took it to the financial end of things. You were involved with the World Bank of Canada as well as Wachovia, and now you're coaching businesses and youths and doing a lot of good things for the community.
Yeah, I love it. And first of all, thanks for having me on today. It's great to be here. Yeah, but after my baseball career, I wanted to do more as far as business is concerned and whatnot. I wanted to give back to the community, and that's always been a passion of mine. And so through communications, after I retired, I was working also with Fox Sports. I was a broadcaster there for 3 years, and then got into the financial industry because I wanted to be closer to home and be a full-time dad. After traveling in baseball, when I had the ability to be home more full-time, that was my first goal. So I became a stockbroker, and I did that for 10 years, and I really enjoyed it.
Wow.
And I worked right around the block from where I lived, and was able to be with my kids, and it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about business and life and whatnot being in that industry, so it was a lot of fun.
I'm sure. Stockbrokering is always exciting, right? Never
it
boring.
is.
So just like real estate and mortgages, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Yep. Never a dull moment.
Well, as you all know out there, Chris is with Mason McDuffie, and at your success retreats that you guys do.
We call it a summit.
Yeah. Where was it? In Tahoe?
Tahoe. Every
Tahoe.
Year. Yep.
Steve Sax was there as the speaker.
Yeah, very exciting for me. I'm
Yes.
just going to be quiet today because I was actually at the World Series in '88
Really?
with my mom. We're big Dodger fans, and it's hard to say that in Northern California.
Yeah.
I always have to follow that up with I am a baseball fan, and Buster Posey is probably one of my favorite players. So all you Giants fans, I'm a Dodger fan, but I love Buster Posey.
Yeah.
The guy is just amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to not be mad at me for being Dodger blue, and I like baseball.
Okay.
So that's, got to throw that
yeah.
out there in Northern California. This rivalry is pretty brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've been to the Dodger Stadium. That's the only stadium I've been to. But I'm really excited to have Steve here. And I want to thank Dominic Carini with Fidelis Marketing for arranging this, because it's an awesome opportunity to meet you.
Thank you.
And to see all the great things that you're doing. So tell me a little bit about these classes that you have for adults and youth.
Yes, I've just launched on my youth coaching website. Actually, it's stevesaxcoaches.com, where people can go and see the information. But actually, this Monday, we're going to be launching my online group coaching throughout all the United States for the adults. And it's going to cover different aspects of life and business and whatnot. And I think coaching, in as much as it's getting to be a very big industry now.
Right.
A lot of people have business and life coaches, and whatnot. I have a passion for it. So it fits right in with what I've done through communications and whatnot before, and especially now that I'm a speaker. So I enjoy doing that, and we're going to launch that on Monday. And people can go just right there on the website and sign up, and they'll be with me 10 sessions per month. At 5 o'clock Pacific time is what time we'll do it. It'll also be archived, so they can, if they missed it at 5 o'clock, they can go and see it again. And essentially the platform is I'll be coaching a person, and they'll be able to see me, and I'll be able to see that person. All the other people that join in on the group coaching throughout the country will be able to view that coaching relationship. So they'll be able to gain from the relationship simply by tuning in and watching. And because their issues, I'm sure, are most other people's issues as well.
Right.
So that's the platform with the adults.
Okay.
The other platform that we're going to be launching on June 2nd is with the youth. It's going to be youth mentor coaching throughout the United States as well. And essentially, the mission there is I'm aligning myself with parents to help mentor and their kids throughout the U.S. And we all know if we have kids, you can say something to your kids, and your neighbor can say the same thing to them, and it'll resonate because it's not your parents saying it.
I know.
So essentially, that platform will be 6 times a month with the kids.
Okay.
The first session will be with the parents and the kids, and we can all do it as a group. And then after that, the next 5 sessions will be just me and the kids. So they start to gain some autonomy. And there's some things that we don't want to tell our parents everything. We want to have kind of learn on our own and whatnot.
Yes.
So that's kind of the mission there, is to do what we can to help kids and gain confidence, do things in school that are better. Make sure they stay away from drugs and alcohol. The importance of treating the opposite sex with respect. Gaining self-respect themselves. And when we see these leaps and bounds that we're sure that they're going to make, then those kids that are serious about it and really looking for improvement, we're going to be able to, through my foundation, to give out scholarships to the ones that are really making strides all throughout the country. So that's the goal we're having.
That's amazing. It really is. What age groups are you looking at?
Mostly just the high schoolers.
High schoolers,
Yeah,
okay.
and there's kids, mostly teenagers.
Well,
Kids in
sometimes
college
I
can
wish
come
you
too.
just blink an eye, skip those years.
I'm in those years.
Yeah. Well, I'm a mother of 4.
Oh boy, yeah. How lucky are you?
I'm very lucky.
Very blessed. Very
Yes.
blessed. Absolutely.
But there was times there.
I went through
They
that
were
too with
Yes.
The kids are so dynamic, and
Yes.
the great thing about it is when they're going through times like this, it just means that you're raising your kids right.
Right.
The fact that they're gaining independence is a great thing, because we want our kids to be self-thinkers and self-starters. And
So independent.
when they kind of get that rebellious type,
Right.
it just means that they're growing and they're learning to cut the strings, which is a really good
wish
thing.
I knew you then.
Yeah, well, I needed that advice for me too when I was going through it. But I've been
Oh, my
blessed with
goodness.
2 of the greatest kids that
Yeah.
God ever put on the earth, and they're
Yeah.
just such great kids. They're just phenomenal, and I kind of have the measuring stick there. If my kids are great and my kids are healthy and they feel about me the way I feel
Yes.
about them, I can deal with anything else.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But that's the measuring stick for
But
me.
as you're going through it as a parent, okay, my oldest was the perfect child, okay, and she's a wonderful adult, and so I thought, this is easy, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then
Then the next 2 came along, okay, and they were great, awesome kids, but they went through their stages, you know,
Yeah.
and they've grown up to be great adults and
Sure
very
they do.
independent.
it's like your kids leave for a while and it becomes
Yes.
something that, is that my daughter or is that my son,
Yes.
whatever. And then all of a sudden they come back and they
Yes.
come back better than ever.
Right.
And yeah.
What method do you coach from?
I coach from the Coactive method, from the CTI, the Coaches Training Institute.
Right.
And there's a lot of coaches out there that don't have that don't have their credential and whatnot. And for instance, Tony Robbins is a great speaker and a great
I love
person.
him.
I
Yeah.
love Tony Robbins. He does not have any credentials.
Right.
But Tony Robbins is one of the most influential people in the U.S. But
Right.
So I'm actually currently in the program now, even though I've been coaching for a number of years. I think it's important that I get my credential,
Right.
because I want people to know that I'm coming to them from a professional standpoint, that I'm not in this just because I played ball or whatever, or I have some sphere of influence from people I've met, whatever. I'm coming at it from a strictly professional aspect, that I want to show them I've gone through the rigors of getting my credential as well. And that's what I'm doing. My credential will be done here very shortly, and it is a lot of time. People don't realize the dedication it takes to be a coach,
Right.
a business and life coach.
Right.
There is a lot to it. There's several layers of training that you have to go through, that for the ones that are serious about it. And that's why I wanted to show people my dedication and my seriousness. And so I'm going through the process to get my fully accreditation. Yeah,
As a coach.
as a coach.
As a coach.
Yes.
You have a very unique background. I mean, being a stockbroker and being in the financial field, and I thought it was all baseball, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, sports is a mirror of life.
Yes.
It really is, because you deal with the travel, you deal with politics,
Right.
you deal with ups and downs, you deal with passion and your life dedication, you deal with other people around you. You have your relationships, your interpersonal relationships that you have that are intertwined within the sports community.
Right.
Relationships that I've had. From when I first started in the major leagues, before we came in here, I had a friend of mine, Larry, who called me, who was one of my roommates when I first started out. Because
Oh,
your
really?
first years of baseball, it's like you're in college, I guess. I didn't go to college, but I can imagine
Yes.
what it's like. And and he called me up today, and we're going to have lunch when I go down to L.A. tomorrow. So,
Right.
yeah, it's a great thing.
It is time for a break. Stay tuned. Our phone number here is 916-679-1820. Might have a question for Steve Sachs. Give us a call. Again, stay tuned.
Oh, put me in Call 866-576-1055 with your questions for the Real Estate Insider, Ellen Hurley, live on Money 1055 and Money1055.biz.
Be sure the inspector you choose to inspect your property is a member of the California Real Estate Inspection Association, also known as CREA. Founded in 1976, the California Real Estate Inspection Association is a nonprofit association providing education, training, and support services to the public and real estate inspection profession. The Greater Sacramento chapter of CREA has over 50 qualified inspector members to handle your inspection needs. Members of CREA must successfully complete entrance examinations, adhere to a strict code of ethics and standards of practice, and maintain 30 hours of continuing education each year. CREA's Code of Ethics and Standards of Practice are recognized by the California Business and Professions Codes and are considered the standard of care by the real estate industry and legal profession in the state. If you're buying, selling, building, remodeling, upgrading, or repairing a property, CREA members provide a variety of impartial inspection services for almost every need and purpose. To locate a local qualified inspector, call the CREA Referral Hotline 800-848-7342 or visit the CREA website at creia.org.
Securing proper insurance coverage for your home is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. Call Mike Seeger at Liberty Mutual Insurance today for your no-obligation rate quotation. 916-649-1246, extension 55885. Mike will provide you with proper coverages at a very competitive rate, including immediate evidence of insurance for your close of escrow. Enjoy new lower rates along with extra discounts for bundling your home insurance and auto or life insurance. Mike has been helping people secure the right coverages for 27 years with one of the top insurance companies in the country, Liberty Mutual Insurance. Call or email Mike Seeger at Liberty Mutual Insurance today, 916-649-1246, extension 55885, michael.segur at libertymutual.com.
Money 1055, an iHeart radio station.
Well, welcome back. This is Ellen Hurley from the Real Estate Insider, and we're sitting here for just join us with Steve Sachs and Chris Offer with Mason McDuffie. But Steve Sachs is, of course, two-time World Series winner with Dodgers years ago, and since then he's also been a stockbroker, wealth manager with World Bank of Canada, and now he's working with the youth and adults and with businesses in coaching. Mm-hmm. And in the process of getting credentials and like that. So many times when you see coaches online, okay, you don't know what they're about, if they ever did anything financial oriented. So I was very impressed that all the steps you took since then.
Thank you.
So that's awesome.
Thank you. I think it's just important to follow your passion,
Mm-hmm.
because when people follow their passion, they have a chance to be pretty good at it. And it's something that's not going to just be around for a little while. It's something that's in them. It's almost an innate experience to go out and do what you really love. And passion, I think, is just a word for showing people how much you're loving what you're doing.
Right.
And that's what I think the essence of going out and just living your life, you're living your dream, is really what it's about.
Well, it doesn't happen by accident either. I mean, it takes a lot of work to do what you do, to do what I do,
mm-hmm.
and the schooling, the credentialing.
Right.
I mean, we go through continuing education constantly,
all the time,
or we don't get to do what we do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's great that that you're taking that step to do that, because you're going to learn as you go as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're going to grow, and sports is like that too. When people talk about, well, in sports, you guys go out and play and whatever. No, I broke it down, and I think the actual time that we played the games in my life was like 8% of the time was actually playing the game. The rest of it was training.
Yeah,
it's preparation for anything, right?
Yeah,
right.
And people say, when you're a kid and you're going to spring, you're working that hard, and little league and all the way up through the steps, and you get into college, professional ball, whatever. Hey, in professional ball, you go to spring training for 6 weeks, and all it is practice. You some of the times you play some games, but most of the time it's practice, and it's just all that time of preparation that really counts. The actual game time is very, very small compared to that. And when you go to spring training and whatnot, that's your continuing ed. So, the continuing ed part and the work part and the preparation part is all kind of overlooked sometimes by people because they think, well, you just go out there and you play. No, that's just a small part of it.
Right. So when you described your the coaching method with children, with teenagers, okay, with teenagers, you said that they could see you, okay, online. So, but it's not like a webinar,
Yeah.
or is it similar? Or
Similar. The deal is I have a system set up, and what they do is they'll come. I'll be coaching a person like on a Skype system or a Google Hangout, and I'll be able to see them, and they'll be able to see me, and I'll be coaching this person.
Right.
And then I have a system that takes that and transfers it out through all the other people in the universe that are going through this, Google Hangout
Right.
is what we'll use. And they come through and they can watch and they can experience me
great.
coaching this person. So they'll gain from watching the experience.
Right.
So is that like a split screen kind of deal?
Yeah.
Where you can see both
It is.
people?
Yep. And the people that are looking in can see myself and the other person. And of course, the other person has to agree that they're able to share their experience online with everybody else. It's not going to be when they're going to come on and be sabotaged. Oh, everybody's going to watch. No, that's all done beforehand. Yeah.
I imagine if it's from people all over the country, not necessarily right in your neighborhood, I could see how that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because there's
Oh,
people
yeah,
all over the
yeah.
place watching you. It's not
Different
like they can come
cultures,
over and knock
yeah.
on your door and say, "Hey, what
Yeah.
an idiot you are to say that." on
Yes,
the-
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's kind of neat because it's also kids how impressionable they are. They can see, wow, this person's being coached and they live in Lakeland, Florida. They're not too much different than I am. They've
Right.
got the same issues. I see how they dress. They kind of dress the same, and they sometimes butt heads with their parents, and
Yeah.
they don't like a class in school, and they've been tempted to try this drink or whatever,
Yes,
and we're gonna. But it's going to be done where I'm not certainly going to be there, scolding, or I'm not going to be there lecturing. I'm going to be a safe place for them to talk, and that's an important thing. Is they realize that it's a safe place to talk.
Right,
And, yeah.
right.
So that's the first thing.
So do you work one? I mean, how does one get your personal attention? Let's say because every teenager is different, right?
Yeah, sure. And they can go on too, and they can schedule a time if people want where they
Okay,
can go and
okay.
do one-on-one coaching.
Good.
And that's mostly done with the adults,
Okay.
the one-on-one coaching.
Got it.
But they can do that
businesses, you
too
mean?
for
For
businesses.
yeah.
Yeah, businesses or individuals. They can go
Right.
in there and they can do the one-on-one coaching. And that's what I'm doing mostly now. Before we
Right.
get this launched, is I've been doing the one-on-one coaching.
Right. But you've spoken in front of the real estate community before, and what topics do you usually cover?
I've really covered topics that just kind of transcend any boundaries of vocation. We talk about setting goals. We talk about living your passion. We talk about choosing success.
Yes.
It's all there in my book. I usually coach right out of my book.
Well, working through failures.
Oh yeah.
And tough times.
One of my main topics I like to talk about is celebrating failure. And people say, what is the celebration of failure? How can you talk about celebrating failure? And in that, I talk about not the fact that like when John and Mary get a business, the business goes down and they're destitute and on the street in 2 years. I'm not talking about celebrating that.
Right.
I'm talking about when people go through a time and they don't succeed. And they know what it feels like, the trepidation to take another step forward, to risk your heart again, to the humiliation that comes along with that, and the self-angst within people that
Right.
cursing themselves, because I went through that one in baseball. It's the fact that they know if they try it again and it's lurking around the corner, but they get on the horse, they get on the
Right.
saddle, they roll the dice, and they say, bring it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to challenge it again because my
Absolutely.
goal is worth it.
Yes.
That's what you need to celebrate. That's the celebration part.
Yes.
Because really, when you're talking about success, the road to success goes right through the dump.
Right.
I mean, you have to go through that part. And the fact that they're willing to do that, that's what you got to celebrate in people. The
Right.
the empowering of people to go out there and do it again. That's the
Right.
important thing.
Right. It's that mindset.
Correct.
I went when I was turning 40, years ago. Okay. But
Last week.
all of a sudden, I started kind of getting anxiety, going over bridges or just the height. Even a picture of, this is kind of really strange, but a picture with showing like a dramatic, like a little house there and you're way down here, it would make my knees weak. And so what I did, so I said, I can't do it. It's this ridiculous. It's allowing this to overcome you, right? So I went parasailing. I made myself do
Wow.
all these things, and I'm not afraid of heights anymore.
That's so
So,
interesting that you
yeah.
say that, Ellen, because I have a very dear friend of mine who experienced the same things. I remember
Right.
one time we were going to San Francisco, and she was driving and she couldn't go over the bridge.
Yeah.
And she had that, and I just kind of talked her through it and talked about the support and how strong the bridge was, and it's meant to encompass this house. It was built this way.
Yeah.
She went over the bridge, and now she does it all the time. She's not afraid to go over a bridge. But it was the same thing that you're speaking about.
I had to psych myself out until I made myself do these outlandish things. I mean, went in a helicopter to the what do they call it, in Colorado, the dam and stuff, and the Grand Canyon, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And it just made myself do ridiculous things, okay, to overcome it. But before I did that, I had to psych myself out when I was on a bridge and imagine it being so much bigger than the car, and thinking, okay, I'm safe, that type of thing, and kind of work my,
Yes.
And so I totally agree with you. And there's other things in everyone's life, I think, that you're either going to succumb to your fears or succumb to your failures, or say, you know what, I'm committed, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And I so admire what you went through, even with baseball. I was reading about that.
Yeah.
And
Can I speak to that on a second?
Mm-hmm.
It's so amazing that you talk about how you challenged the fear.
Yes.
That's what I had to do when I went through this throwing problem. See,
Right.
I suddenly became unable to do the most rudimentary thing in baseball, throw the ball from second to first, because I developed this mental block about doing it. And then when fear and doubt creeps in, it takes it to another level. It'll suck out any chance of success that you have. And so that's what it was doing with me.
Yes.
And I got to a point when I finally admitted that I have this stuck in my head, that I have a problem here.
Yes.
The first thing is admitting it. And I didn't want to admit it to myself. It'll go away. It's no big deal. Everybody goes through it. And I tried to rationalize it. When I finally admitted I had the problem, I said, I planted my flag and I adopted my purpose, which was, this was my life dream. And I will not let this instance ruin my career. So I had to plant my flag. And I said, for this time, this is the most important thing in my life. And I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to bite this problem right in the face. I'm not going to run from it. I'm going to wave my hand at it. I'm actually going to chase the problem. I'm hunting the problem now.
See, that's awesome.
And over a period of time, I beat this thing. Went on to play another 16 years in the big leagues at the highest level I could ever imagine, because I went out and I chased the problem.
Right.
Didn't turn from it. I welcomed it and challenged the problem to a fight.
Right.
That's what I did.
Well, you came back and you led the American League, right? Both fielding percentage and double plays.
So I did.
That's amazing, right?
It's
you could have succumbed to that. You could have been, who was that? Instead, you came back as a winner.
Well, yeah, thank you. From the bottom, from the last in fielding to the National League,
Right.
and then to the top in the American League, and in that time, and it's just, I was really blessed that I had a strong family with me.
Right.
And in my book, I detail a component of this to help me get out of this was the last conversation I ever had with my dad, and I explained that at the Mason McDuffie retreat a couple of years ago. My dad told me that he went through the same thing when he played, and you have to just get it back one day at a time through practice. That's how important practice and preparation is. And that's why I like to talk to kids about preparation and practice, how important that is. And through those steps of preparation and practice, I was able to overcome this, build up my confidence one day at a time until it was second nature to me.
Right.
And that's how I beat this thing. And that was the advice from my dad on the last conversation that I ever had with him, because he died about 6 hours after that conversation.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But what he left you with?
He left me
Isn't
with
that
something
awesome,
really
right?
strong.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's really something, and you use that same type of training that you had for the financial side of it, for being a coach, for working with the Bank of Canada, and
all the training
and
that
all
I
that.
do through coaching and through my speaking is all life experience stuff.
Right.
So, in as much as I want to get my credential and go through those avenues,
right.
the essence of my training in speaking is all life stuff that
Right.
I've actually gone through. So when I'm doing a speech, whatever, I don't have notes.
Right.
I mean, I have my computer over here with some bullets in case I want to look glance. But all of my stuff I do is all from the heart. It's all just comes out.
Right.
And I keep a task, of course, of where I'm going to go. But most of the stuff is just bullet points, and I just talk about it because I've lived it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I lived my life, but I need my notes just in case.
Notes are grand, man. You gotta keep on track.
Just in
that's
case,
for sure.
okay.
Yes.
But time for a break. We're going to get back to, and I'm going to ask Steve about maybe some testimonials.
Sure.
So stay tuned.
Stonk's fall. From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York, I'm Donna Wilson. U.S. stocks erased earlier gains as energy and utility companies declined, and technology shares trimmed their rebound following a two-day sell-off. European equities gained, and the euro fell as the region's central bank signaled it may cut interest rates in June. The Dow Jones Industrial Average falling 10 points to 16,508. S&P 500 index is down 0.3% to 1872, and the Nasdaq falling 0.6% to 4043. While fewer Americans filed applications for unemployment benefits last week, the Labor Department reports jobless claims dropped by 26,000 to 319,000 in the week that ended May 3rd. The median forecast of economists surveyed by Bloomberg called for a decrease to 325,000.